Hello guys. So I was going to go ahead and show you how to navigate the lab for today. And this lab is actually going to take us, I've given you plenty of time to do it, so this lab is not actually due until after spring break. Okay, so this lab I'm really excited about. I've never done this lab before, but you guys are getting a really cool opportunity today to actually help with cheetah and lion conservation. So as we've kind of talked about before, sometimes we have these feelings of like, oh, we're in Ohio, and even though we have our own animals here, the really interesting ones that are endangered or their populations are decreasing, they're not around here, okay? So a lot of times I have students that are saying like, I don't know what I can do to help cheetahs, or I don't know what I can do to help lions. And so this is actually going to be an opportunity for us to directly influence those conservation efforts in Africa. Okay, so a little bit of background, and you're going to get a chance to read more about this, but a little bit of background of the Ruaha Carnivore Project. So this project is a group of scientists that are studying the human-wildlife conflict over in Ruaha, okay, which is a place in Tanzania. And currently, okay, we have a lot of the local villages are having a problem with some of the larger carnivores, which include your cheetahs and your lions. We're also going to look at the African wild dogs in this lab too, but currently there's a big conflict because right now the big carnivores are attacking and eating the farmers' livestock, so the goats and the cows and the sheep. There have also been a couple attacks on humans, okay, and then the humans, in retaliation, will oftentimes go and hunt the cheetah and lion, decreasing that population even more. So one of the big goals of this project is to figure out where carnivores are more likely to be at, so that way they can help villagers avoid these areas, to reduce this conflict between humans and that growing population there, and then the carnivores that naturally live there already. So you can kind of see there's going to be, this conflict is a little scary at times because we think of the animals around here, and like, yeah, you probably have some opossums and some raccoons, maybe like a muskrat in your backyard. Okay, you don't have a cheetah or a lion in your backyard. Thank goodness. So with your lab for today and the next couple days, you are actually going to help collect data on where these animals are, and that data will actually be used to reduce the amount of cheetah and lion killings out of retaliation, okay, for protection and safety reasons. Okay. So when you first open up Google Classroom, you'll see this document right here. It's one that I've created in Google Docs. You will have editing access to it so you can fill in the questions. So there's some background information right at the very beginning, which talks about the decline of some of our big carnivores, and then you see in the directions that says click here to go to this informational website. So you'll just click right here on the link, click down, and that will open up the website for you. Okay, there's not a lot of reading, so it's just little blurbs. There's a lot of pictures. Oh, look at that cute little hyena baby. All right, so just a couple blurbs of like where in the world we're talking about, some of the existing issues, some of the goods, and some of the bads. So you've got some background things, and you can work through that kind of at your own pace, okay, because like I said, this lab is due after spring break, so you've got a good amount of time to actually finish it up. Alright, I'm going to keep skipping. This looks like a lot, but most of these questions you can answer in less than a sentence. Conservation efforts. Okay, here we go. Here's the actual lab part that I wanted to go through with you guys. So one of the ways that we are going to collect data, and when we are acting as scientists, okay, we're actually doing a data collection portion, and we're called like civilian scientists. So the team over in Ruaha is actually depending on civilians like you and me, okay, civilian scientists, to collect this data. And one of the reasons why they need our help is because they have set up camera traps all over the landscape in Ruaha, along the parks and along the trees. And so they have millions upon millions of photos to go through. Now that's not possible when you have a team of like 10 to 15 people. Okay, so what we do as civilian scientists, we help to identify whether there's an animal in that picture, because some of the pictures will not have animals in them, whether there's evidence of humans in that picture, okay, or what type of animal we see, okay, and I'll show you how we do that. Now that data, once it's collected through this website, will be sent directly to the teams, and they have a database that they put it in, and that database is what they use to help understand where these carnivores are. Okay, so we know that cheetahs and lions and all the other carnivores, they don't just stay in one place all the time. They move around for food, for breeding reasons, for water, during the different seasons. Okay, so this is actually part of the way that we are trying to track animal migration too. Okay, so I would like you to do, here's your goal, I'd like you to do 20 pictures, which sounds like a lot when I first say it, okay, but it actually goes pretty quick, and it's actually kind of fun. I kind of get hooked into it, as you're going to see here in a minute. So I want you to go through 20 pictures through this website that I'm about to show you, and I want you to take a screenshot of your 20 photos. Okay, and I'll go through this with you to make sure you understand. Keep in mind as we're doing these, okay, that this data directly affects the people in this area. Okay, so this isn't just like an assignment that could almost be called busy work or anything else. Like, this is an assignment that is going to influence other people other than you and other than me. Like, obviously I will grade it, you will get a grade for it, but it's going to be one that actually has a much bigger impact than probably most, if not all, of your other schoolwork. Okay, so it's kind of a big deal. So make sure you take your time, take it seriously, and provide some accurate data as best as you can. Okay, so if we go ahead and go right into this website, so I've hyperlinked it, you just click on there, it'll take you right there. Wait for it to load. Alright, so there's a little tutorial, which is kind of brief, so you can kind of go through the tutorial if you don't remember what I say during this video. So what it's saying is that these cameras usually take 3 pictures anytime they sense movement. Unless it is nighttime, they will only take 1 picture during the night so that it minimizes the disturbances of those wild animals. So they have camera traps, like trail cameras. If you've used trail cameras before, basically the same thing. And they've set them up throughout multiple areas of Africa. Okay, so you will see a picture. You'll look through the picture and see if you see an animal. Okay, sometimes you won't. All right, and that animal sometimes is really easy to identify, and sometimes it's not. And I'll show you one that's kind of difficult to figure out what it is at first. Okay, they want you to try your best at identifying it. Now, one thing that it says in here, okay, is if you cannot. Here it is. If you cannot identify an animal, do your best. Because at this time, a guess is better than nothing. Okay? It's better to have some data in the right direction than data that's just non-existent. Okay? So, if you see an animal and you're like, I don't know what it is, but I know it's not this, this, and this, okay, include that in your data selection, and then you can submit it in. Alright, and here we go. Alright, so if we take a look, a lot of times, pretty much every time I log on, like the first picture, I don't see anything in. Alright, and that's perfectly fine. So if you look at that picture, I don't see any animals, unless I'm missing it. It's almost like those camouflage pictures that we did earlier this year. Alright, so there's a zoom in button, okay, where you can zoom in and look. Alright, there's a zoom out. You can move things around, you can rotate them. That's not easy to see. Okay, so I don't see anything. Now, one of the reasons why we sometimes get pictures without anything in them, sometimes if it's like an insect or a bird or a mouse, something that's too small, oops, almost knocked that down, something that's too small to be picked up on a camera, but yet big enough to make the camera take a picture, that's sometimes why we get things like that. So I don't see anything. You would simply click, No animals present. You do see there's a fire option too. That's what they use to track wildfires. So they're collecting a lot more data than just whether or not there's an animal there. Okay. All right, here's another picture. You can see it gets a little, we're like in plants, so my guess is there's either an insect or the wind blew them. I don't see any animal right off the bat. Maybe a little bug right there, but I can't tell what kind of bug it is. All right, and so you would just continue going through this. Now, sometimes I'm really lucky and I get awesome pictures right away. Like on my first trial run, this is what came up as my second picture. And I was like, oh, look at that little baby elephant. All right, so let's go ahead and say this was the next picture that popped up for us. All right, so we are going to go ahead and identify it. So we know that it is an elephant. So we click elephant on our data list. Okay. It gives you a little bio. Cool. Okay. So it's going to ask you how many elephants do you see. This is going to be complicated. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That one looks like the leg of a new one. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm going to say 9. Okay. Now, once again, do your best. Okay. What behaviors do I see? Resting, standing, moving, eating, interacting. They kind of look like they're just standing there right now. Okay. And then, are there any young present? Oh, yeah, there's that cute little baby. All right. So, before you submit this, I am going to request that you take screenshots because I want to see what you guys find. So to screenshot, there's directions on the lab if you go back into Google Classroom. But to screenshot, you would just hit the screenshot button, okay, which is the control button, and then it's the control button, and then this weird like rectangle thing. So you're going to hit that, all right? And so let's say this is our first screenshot. Okay, animal identified, we found some elephants, okay, and you can make it look pretty on your own. Now you would then go into insert image. Now yours would probably be from computer, okay, on your Chromebooks. I'm not on my Chromebook right now, but I know I've got mine in my drive, okay, and your screenshots would show up right here. Okay, here were some previous screenshots that I found, okay, so this was actually on my phone. Boop, 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 boop. Of a zebra that I found at 12:41 a.m. Oh yeah, my sleep schedule's all messed up. And you know, I'm doing Project Ruaha at almost 1 o'clock in the morning. I know how to live. Alright, so with that snapshot, all you have to do is put it right in there. So you can do this on your phone too, so if you have trouble uploading things, just do it on your phone. Easy peasy. And then you can also shrink this down. I don't need it to be like giant. On that. Just shrink it down so that it fits on there. Okay, so let's say, okay, make sure, of course, after you do all that data collection, you take your screenshot, that you hit identify, and then you just hit done. There's a way to like chat if there's like a large group of people doing it. I find it frankly annoying. Okay, now let's say you have, let me check my time, an animal in here, and if you look close, there is one. It's running, okay, and it's really blurry. Okay, so let's start at the back. Now I have no idea what this animal is. Okay, so let's figure out what it is. Okay, you have like these filters over here. So if you click the like button, okay, you'll see. Okay, what is it like? Looks like some type of deer antelope type thing. Okay, so that's going to narrow it down. I usually do color after that. Looks like that color. Okay, and all of a sudden I'm getting fewer and fewer. We went from 60 to 12. I can't tell about horns, but from a tail, well, I know it doesn't have any of those tails, but it does kind of have this tail. And all of a sudden we're down to 7. Okay, if we look, and when you like click on these, a lot of times it will give you like a little bio. And I'm like, well, I don't know. It's not really that dark. Okay, so if you're like, I don't think that's it, sometimes it'll say often confused with, and then you can click on that one. And you're like, let me see what this is. This one looks pretty close coloration-wise and head shape-wise. And I'm going to think that that's actually what our animal is. So you think, I think this is it. And then I see one. It's moving. I don't see any babies, and I don't see any horns, so identify. And then hit done. Okay.